All right, how you doing? This is Dr. Boydston here from the Boydston Institute, and I want to spend a few minutes going over something that I discuss with my patients almost every single day. So I'm going to just go ahead and put this on a video for everyone's benefit, even if you're not a patient of ours here at the Boydston Institute. And what I want to cover is the topic of gluten and what it really takes to be gluten free. Now, many of you have heard me say in various articles and webinars that I've put on that the first thing that a Hashimoto's patient really should do is go gluten free. And what will happen is that I'll get on a consultation with a patient and I'll ask about it. They'll say, well, they'll put on their paperwork, I'm gluten free or I'm mostly gluten free. And here's the thing, because if you have an immune sensitivity to gluten, which means that every time that your body sees this protein that's in wheat and various other grains, what's happening is that it's creating inflammation to the food. And it's ramping up that inflammation, those antibodies, every single time you eat it. So even if you go 4 days or even 2 days gluten-free and you have just a little bit, well, you've completely reversed everything that you've done, and you've basically going back to square one. Because from square one, you have to basically reduce all that inflammation all over again. And what happens for some patients is they get frustrated because they go a few days, they eat a little bit, they go a few days, they eat a little bit, and they never actually make any progress. And so they'll just say, well, this gluten-free diet is not working. And reality is that for some patients, just removing gluten, they make a lot of progress without doing a lot of the other stuff that we do and a lot of the other things that we address here. But for 99% of Hashimoto's patients, that needs to be the first step, and that's a step that you can do all on your own, not knowing anything else about your case. Another thing that I have come up quite often, I'll get emails, they'll say, I just read your report, and it doesn't tell me what to do. And in all reality, actually, it does. It covers all the things that we're going to look at. The problem is that we don't know, in your particular case, what needs to be done. And that's where we start out here at our institute, is that we want to really review everything and decide what additional information we need so that we can start to put the pieces together and determine what are the immune triggers for you. What things that do we need to uncover that are an ongoing everyday source of inflammation for you. What damage has been done as a result of that inflammation, and what do we need to do to repair that so that we can get you moving in the right direction. So certainly there's no step-by-step cookie-cutter approach, but we do take a very complete approach by looking at all the peripheral factors that are affecting the immune system and then working from there to create a plan that once we have the information, we can take a step-by-step plan to allow you to get to the place where you are actually feeling and functioning well again. Whereas with the traditional model that you're used to, it's these numbers are off, let's give you some Synthroid and let those numbers come back into the normal range. And a lot of times on paper they are going to come back into the normal range, but that doesn't mean that you feel and function good. So just because those numbers look good and you feel horrible, what have you accomplished? And in all reality, you haven't accomplished much. We're just manipulating numbers on paper. Not that you don't need that part of the treatment, but obviously it's not addressing the whole thing. So just to recap, if you've started a gluten-free diet, it really needs to be a 100% gluten-free diet, or it's not a gluten-free diet at all, and you're not going to get any benefit from it. Two, if you've had this problem for a long time and you're just making that change, it may take a while before you see any benefit from it. I mean, there's the possibility that you may start to see changes, within the first week. But for other people, there's so much damage done as a result that it could take months, and you just have to know that is a definite thing that you need to do to move forward. And obviously, there's many other things that need to be looked at, but that's the first step that you need to take, and you can do that whether or not you work with us or not. So gluten-free diets need to be 100%, and obviously with Hashimoto's, there's lots of things that need to be looked at, and that's where we come in.